I think this is the perfect time to do a mental health check. As some of you guys know, I have my own company called TeaMarr's Tasty Cakes. On Friday, my mom, my sisters, and my grandmother came to pick up an order for me. I'm happy to say like at least 90% of my clients are people of color. Seeing the brutal killing of George Floyd, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, I'm disgusted. Like, all I'm seeing from seeing these killings all the time is just, that could be my brother. Like, that could be my father. There's so many family members that this could possibly be dead in the street tomorrow. It's hurting me. It's like really, 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 really hurting me to think that my father could go outside and I could lose him tomorrow. Is just torturous. The cars being flipped over and burned, they deserve it. They deserve it. I agree. And I support them 110%. Like, we're tired. We're tired. What do you want us to do? I've been trying to avoid the news because I have anxiety. And the other day, watching them flip these cars was literally making me shake. Like, I was getting into fight or flight mode. And I wasn't even there. So I've been trying to avoid the news. Like, I know what's going on. I know the racism. I know. All of this was just getting to my nerves. And I can't. I'm scared. Like, it's scary out there. It's very scary. Like, this whole thing is putting me on edge. And all I could say is be strong. I'm with you. And I don't want to lose anybody else. So please, everybody be safe, be strong. Today's video is about mental health. I'm gonna be talking about my depression and anxiety. I can't remember where I started feeling anxious. I can't really tell you where my anxiety started, but I can definitely tell you my depression started at the age of 11. So this is gonna be my firsthand experience with depression and anxiety growing up. As far as I remember, when I was 11, like, life was just miserable. And it's probably like, I don't know, like, it was just miserable and it's no reason to be miserable, really. Like, it's like, whatever, like, there's food. I didn't categorize myself as being abused because, like, it's like everybody gets beat, like, you know, so I didn't really think it was abuse at the time. I got teased because I developed earlier than other kids. So as far as I remember, I got teased at school. And then I came home to get teased by my mom. Like, I lived in a very strict Haitian household. And it's like, I would get teased at school and then I would come home and I would tell her. And then she would be like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just jealous, da-da-da. And then in the next breath, she would like call me fat or like call me stupid or like basically tease me. Like, she used to call me, black and dirty. Like, she would be like, my skin had to be lighter. Haitians, well, I feel like, I don't know if this is Caribbean, but as far as I hear from Haitians, Haitians believe that if you have a roof over your head and food in the fridge, you are not abused. You are spoiled and you are perfectly fine. And what they failed to realize was during that time of me getting teased and then me coming home and you guys basically reinforcing that, it's like I was taking that pain 10 times. Like, I could tell you that living the way I lived with my parents have given me a backbone. Like, nobody could really say anything that really gets on my nerves now because it's like everything has already been told to me. Like, okay. It was very painful. It was very painful then. I also believe my mom had some kind of mental illness herself, but she never went to get diagnosed. Like, she refused therapy, she refused doctors, she refused anybody who wasn't telling her what she wanted to hear was a no-go. So at that time, like, I didn't feel like anything was too extreme. Like, it was like, okay, I'm sad, whatever, like, life is miserable, but like, life went on at that moment. Like, I just knew that I couldn't be anywhere near myself. Like, it is what it is. I couldn't be me. Like anytime I showed what I was interested in or what I wanted to do, it was rejected, or I was yelled at, or I was beat. So I was just like, let me just stay away. Like that was like the beginning process of me slowly distancing myself from my parents. When I hit 13, I remember the voice in my head. Like I feel like there's a voice in my head that tells me destructive things. Like there's a voice that's like, you're worthless, you're useless, like everybody's better off without you, you have no purpose. Like every bad thing you could think of, this voice in my head was telling me. Like it was just kill yourself, basically. My voice in my head was telling me that I'm useless and there's no point to my existence. And then I feel like that was further backed up by my parents, because I am programmed to remember every negative thing. Like I can tell you every negative thing that happened to me from probably like 4th grade to now. Like it does not leave my head. It might be in the back of my head, but it's always gonna come to the front. So I remember like my father telling me, remember there's always somebody prettier than you. That's from my father. Like probably the context behind that was like I wanted to do like maybe a pageant, or I was like, you know how every other little girl is like, oh, I want to model and I want to take pictures or something. And he was just like, nah, kid, that's not gonna be you. There's always somebody that's gonna be prettier than you. And I was like, okay. And that stayed with me. Like, or my mom always telling me that I'm black and dirty, because apparently when I was born, I was lighter than this. Like I was like basically yellow. And as I got older, I got a little color on me, like a little tan, like I wish, like this is still winter skin. Like I wish I had more tan, but the little tan that I have, like this, she's like, no, this is dirty. And then she would like take me to the shower and she would like scrub me with a rag. Like she's like ranting about how dirty I am. And paired with like little kids saying things like this, like little kids would be like I developed faster than other little kids. So I had hair and I had boobs and stuff, and they would be like, oh, look, you're disgusting, or you're fast because your chest is growing out. Or I remember when my hair started growing from my legs, and they would show through the sheer stockings, and they would be like, ew, that's disgusting. You can't walk around with hair like that. That's nasty. And then I came home and I told my mom, and my mom was like, oh, well, you can't shave. You got to keep that hair on your leg, whatever. And then I snuck and got a razor. I don't know if it was my dad, probably my dad's. Got a razor and I shaved it off. And then I forgot. And I was sitting in the kitchen one day and she just looked at my legs and saw that there wasn't any hair and beat me. Like that was always the go-to for everything. Just beat me. Like that was it. My mom always had these mood swings. Like she would be perfectly fine and then she would just turn around and it's like a whole completely different person. Like it's like she felt the need to curse me out for some reason. Like I remember she was sitting at the kitchen table shortly after I had my first period. She was sitting in the sink and she just turns around. Like I'm sitting on the table, everybody's quiet, nobody's doing anything, and she turns around and she's like, you have your period now? Don't talk to boys or you're gonna get pregnant. And then she just turns back around. And that's literally my sex talk forever. Like that's the only regards of sex I ever got from my parents at all. Like that was it. She chose my high schools. I had no choice in my high schools. I had no choice in any of my schools. She put me in an all-girl Catholic school because apparently I'm a hoe and can't be trusted. My life was home, church, and school. So where you would grasp that I'm doing any kind of hoe activity is just very crazy to me. Like, she just literally came out with this by herself. And that's like a lot of Caribbean culture. Like, they just call their daughters hoes just for no reason. Like, every bitch and hoe is what you want to call your daughter. And I don't get it. So she chose my high school. I remember them sitting down with me and asking, like, what do I want to apply to for college? What do I want to do? And it's like everything I told them was shut down. Like, I told them that I wanted to go to culinary school and become a chef. I remember my father telling me that I'm Black and I'm a woman, and the only place I'm going to end up is the back of Burger King flipping burgers, because there's no way I'm gonna be a chef, right? So then I think I changed to vet, and they said I was gonna be broke. That was a big dream of mine, to go to culinary school, to bake, to cook. Like, that was what interested me. And they said I would just end up in Burger King flipping burgers. Okay. And then, I mean, at this point, I guess they're right. Kind of, sort of, because I didn't become a chef. I never went to culinary school after that. I had to pursue medicine. Medicine is where you're always going to get money and you're always going to get a job. And like, it didn't matter that I wasn't interested in medicine. It didn't matter that I had other dreams and I told you my dreams and I wanted these things. Like, it didn't matter. It all got shoved into a closet, and you're doing medicine. This is the colleges for you to apply to. I was literally beat and degraded on a regular basis. Like, I lived in this house walking on eggshells. I always felt like I spill a cup of milk and I get beat. I move a certain way and I get beat. And I just, literally, if you speak to my parents right now, they're gonna be like, no, this never happened. I was treated like a queen. I distanced myself. Like, it was just like a slow climb of me feeling this way, of me feeling all of these things 10 times worse. The voice in my head is like, yeah, she's absolutely right. Like, you're useless. Like, look at you. Like, nobody ever gonna care about you. Like, my parents don't even care about me. So how do I expect outside people to care about me? And this is the voice. The voice is just like reiterating all of this. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? I just want to remind everybody that this is perfectly normal Caribbean culture. If you ask an older Caribbean person, oh, is it okay to be dragged across the floor? They're gonna say, yeah, it's fine. Is it okay to be beat all the damn time for every type of reason? No discussion about anything in life. They're gonna say, of course. Like, this is normal. Part of me wants to say, like, maybe it would be different. Like, maybe they didn't know that this was affecting me like this. Maybe that would have changed something. But then thinking about it, I just think they didn't care. Like, that's it. I don't think they cared. 14 was my first suicide attempt. I came back from high school. I went and I grabbed painkillers. I think it was Advil or something. And I downed the whole bottle. It wasn't a full bottle, but I downed all the pills that was in that bottle. And I remember getting loopy. And I remember going to bed and just thinking that it's over. Like, I'm done. And then a few hours later, waking up and looking around, and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm still here. Like, why am I still here? Like, I was really upset. I was upset that I was still there. I can't even describe the anger. Like, I don't remember what I did after that, but I was upset. I remember thinking about other ways to go. I remember thinking of other ways to die. And the thing about me is I'm kind of a punk. I didn't want to do anything like jump out of a building or whatever. Like, I just wanted to take medication and just go. Like, not anything messy. That's it. I don't like messy things. I remember writing in my journal that I hate everyone and everything. And I literally had a countdown until I turned 18 years old. I did not want to be there. There was a time that I packed a book bag ready to go. Like, I was at the point where I was just like, sleeping in the park would be better than remaining in this house. And I got caught and I got beat. Like, that was the solution for everything. On my journals, it literally will say, like, from the age of 14, it would say, oh, 4 more years, 3 more years, 2 more years. Like, I could not wait till I was 18, because I was told from my parents that when I turned 18, that's when I could do what I want. That's when I could leave and the police won't return me. I was told that if I'm under 18 and I run away, the police are just gonna return me here and they're gonna beat me. Or they'll put me in foster care where I'll get raped or beat. Like, it's a guarantee that I'll just be raped or beat or put into a worse situation. So I didn't tell anybody, like, what was the point? Like, it didn't even register in my head to tell anybody. Like, what was anybody going to do? Like, are they going to change the state laws? Are they going to give me a better, like, living condition? Like, they can't guarantee me a better living condition. So I literally was trapped in my house. It was homeschool church. I remember rebelling against church at the age of like 14, 15, because, like, what is this God and what is he doing for me? She'd come and she'd be like, get dressed, we're going to church. And I was like, no, I'm not going. And then she would like keep like talking to me. She beat me about it. I refused to go. I refused. I was in bed not going, because there's no point in me sitting in this church singing to who and what. Around that age is when I also took up an eating disorder. Basically, I think I became bulimic due to the control issue, because everything was so monitored. Like, my friends were monitored, my phone calls, everything was monitored. So I felt like the only thing that I could control is what I'm doing with my body, like how I'm eating, because they weren't like funneling food in or out my mouth. So I took control of my eating in that form of a eating disorder. 15 and 16, I had an eating disorder. I was still under lock and key. Couldn't go nowhere. Didn't go to no parties. Didn't hang out with no friends. I literally school and home, like I told you, and headed to my next suicide attempt. Here's another reason why I think my mom did not give two shits. Like, I have no idea why she gave birth to me whatsoever. Like, I don't know if it's because maybe the family knew she was pregnant and she couldn't abort it or something. Like, I have no idea where she had me. I just wanted to add that she told me she had me to keep her husband. So there's the reason I was born. Because for you to see your signs of your daughter in a different place are not good, and you just don't care. I had like these morbid artworks in my room. Like, I had a tombstone over my head of my bed. She had put like a picture of an angel and a rosary bead or whatever, and I took it down and I put a tombstone with like, here lies something, I don't know. And she saw that. She was like, no, put the rosary beads back on. Like, and then I had like pictures with swords and blood and like the dark clothing and we used to call it emo back in the day. Like, that was pure me. She found the scissors under my pillow that I was using to cut myself. And she was just like, oh, well, you're cutting yourself now. And I don't know, like, she probably worried about the sheets more than she cared about what the hell I was doing. Enter my next suicide attempt. I did the pills. How old was I? I think I was like probably 16, 17 by then. I did the pills, and then this time I mixed it with alcohol, because usually they say don't mix medication with alcohol. And I got really loopy, and I remember I dropped on the floor, and my little brother and my father found me. But my father showed an ounce of concern at the time. He showed an ounce of concern, and he's like, what did you do? What did you take? And then I guess I told him, because I'm in and out at that point. So I guess I told him like pills and alcohol, whatever. And all I remember was him like walking away and leaving me. Like, I don't remember him doing anything. I don't remember how I got into the bed. I don't know what happened after that. I was never told that I was taken to the hospital or anything. I'm still here. So I woke up and went about my normal, not normal routine. At the age of 19, I finally got out of that house. Okay. I had a huge fight, like physical fight with my mom, and I left and I haven't spoken to her since. And you would think that everything's fine now, right? But no, not exactly. The voice in my head got a little quieter, things got more calmer. But I don't know what it was. Like, I still was sleeping a lot. There would be times that I would get really tired and I would sleep, but I would always come out of it. Like, I still went to work. I hung out with friends, whatever. It was just like a few days, like maybe 3 days, there would be points where I'm just in bed, don't eat. Those days, I get up, look around, maybe turn over, go back to sleep. And it's continuously. After that, I would get the energy again. Like, I would regain myself after. I went for my annual physical, and the doctor asked me about how's my weight, and he asked how's my sleep, how do I feel? And I was just like, oh, my weight just goes up and down, like whatever. And then sometimes I don't sleep. Sometimes I sleep for like hours at a time. What else did I tell him? I told him my eating habits. Sometimes I don't really eat. Just told him that. And he was just like, I think you're depressed. I think you need to see a therapist. And I was like, no, I'm okay. Because I grew up, you know, Blacks, Haitians, like they don't believe in therapy or mental health issues. Their solution for everything is beat them. That's what it is. Like, they're rebelling, beat them, or they're just doing something wrong, or they don't know how to act. I had this stigma of getting help means you're crazy. Being helped is crazy. That means you're insane. You're admitting you're insane, and they're going to admit you into a hospital. That was my thing. But he was like, no, it's fine. I think you need a therapist. And then he actively tried to get me that therapist. Like, he was calling me. I never seen a doctor call his patients like this. Like, he was calling me. He was like, oh, did you call that number? Okay, I'm gonna send you a new number. What they're asking you to pay? Okay, I got another one. And I was just like, okay, sir. So then I found a clinic, and that's when I found out that I have depression. They didn't diagnose me yet. They just said depression. Depression is a very broad spectrum of what it is, like how it acts. So I found out that I had some form of depression and anxiety. I refused medication at the time because, you know, I was still in my stigma of you're crazy, that you can't do this. Like, people are going to think you're crazy for doing this and stuff. And I still was having suicidal thoughts, but it wasn't as intense. It was like, oh, tomorrow I'll do it, like next week or whatever. Let's see what happens. Like, maybe I'll have a fun party this week. I definitely had no plans to make it to 30 years old. That was never a plan for me, ever. Like, I always said I was going to kill myself before 30. My symptoms at the time were fatigue, low self-esteem, low self-worth, suicidal thoughts, no actions though. I wasn't eating like that. My weight changed, it dropped a lot. And I was highly irritable. I basically was out for my freedom, like just my newfound freedom. Like, I finally got out. And then my plan was to just head out this world. Like, that's what it was. The anxiety symptoms I had were panic attacks. It was the racing thoughts, the racing negative thoughts. It was like different scenarios would run in my head over and over of what could have been and what should I have done and everything's wrong. This was a continuous loop of negative thoughts and negative memories and just me thinking over and over and over of things I can't even change. So why am I I had my baby and then moved to Jersey, and then I took a break from therapy for a year or two while I was in Jersey because it was in Brooklyn and I went to Jersey. At the time, I remember it turned into a week now that I would be stuck in bed, not moving, not doing anything, not like just sleeping and being a husk or a shell of a person, like whatever. But I always would come out of that. I always, after the week or whatever, or how many days that this happens, I would come out of it. I would gain energy and go about my normal business. And my daughter had an amazing babysitter in New Jersey who just took her, like just always took her, didn't even care if I was paying or not. Like, she would miss her sometimes and come and get her. She's older, so I guess she just wanted the life in her house. So she was absolutely amazing, and I am so grateful for that woman because there were days that I literally was not moving. Now we're gonna fast forward June 2018. I felt like everybody was criticizing me. Everybody hated me. There was always something wrong with everybody and everything I did, the way I moved, the way I breathed, everything. Everybody had a problem with it. And I don't know the circumstances, to be honest, like, because I think I spoke about it now and people were like, that's not what happened and nobody felt like this about you. Like, that's what I'm being told. My head, when your head tells you something, you believe it. Like, if your head tells you something over and over and over again, in my head, it was just like, nobody respects you. Like, nobody thinks you're a good mom. Like, everything negative was in my head. And then when it's paired with somebody saying something I'm taking negatively, it's just, everything went left. And then I also believe that everybody was telling me to give up my daughter at the time. Like, I guess because I expressed that I was having trouble, like I was like drained and tired. I was having my depression symptoms, but I didn't say, it was just like, I'm feeling really down and I wish I had more help and all these things. And their solution was for me to give up my child. June 9th, I remember this, June 9th, I remember I had a fight with one of my close friends, a friend that we had our babies basically the same time. And we had a fight. And that day I came back home and I was just ready to down some pills. And the only reason that I didn't was because my daughter wasn't next to me. And I was like, I'm not going out without seeing my daughter one last time. So I ended up just staying in bed again, not moving, like my regular cycle. And I remember that summer being very dreary, very sorrowful. I don't remember exactly what happened. Like, I don't recall really going out. I know I traveled a little bit, but that's about it. I think I began the process of pushing everybody away. And the end of that summer, in August, I ended up getting assaulted, which caused me to pack up my daughter and go into a family shelter. Inside that family shelter, like, it wasn't a bad shelter, like nothing was wrong, but it's like my body completely shut down. Like, I was in a fog. Like, all I remember was me being in bed. It was extended. It was not just a week anymore. It was continuous. Like, this carried on for months at a time. I wasn't eating. I would be in my bathroom having panic attacks, like crying and Oh my God, I'm trying not to get emotional. Ooh, okay. In my bathroom crying, and my head would just be telling me over and over, like, you're so useless. Like, when are you gonna go? Nobody cares for you. Like, your daughter will be so much better off with someone else in some other situation. And like, it was a lot. It's sleeping, not answering my phone, not eating, not talking to anybody. Just for a long time, nobody knew where I was. Like, I just completely wanted to wipe myself out of existence. Like, I wanted to go. I remember telling my therapist, like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be out. Like, I can't do this anymore. And she highly recommended me medication. December of 2018 or 2019, I started a new medication every month. They gave me medication for my depression, my anxiety, and my sleep. They gave me Zoloft, Seroquel. That's just off the top of my head. They gave me a lot of medication, and it's like nothing helped. Like, even at one point, when I first started the medication, it ran out, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I couldn't get in touch with my doctor, and I started going through withdrawal of my head just going zip, or I would turn my head like fast or look or something, and my head would just be like zip, and it would keep buzzing, and then I would feel miserable. I felt like my whole body was just like a drape or something. Like, it was a dead weight that I had to carry. Like, that was my body. It felt like a dead, painful weight. I was on suicide watch. My therapist made me sign papers saying that I would seek help if I get to that point. I mean, I thought about throwing myself in front of a car. Like, the voice in my head was so loud. I told you in the beginning that I wouldn't do a messy situation for me to go. Like, at that point, I really didn't care. I thought about jumping off buildings, jumping in front of cars. I was ready to go. I really just did not care. And it is so hard to explain to people this voice. Like, it's not schizophrenia. It's just your conscience. Like, it's your brain. Like, you talking to yourself, but negatively. Like, you're attacking yourself. Like, that's what it is. And it was so loud during that time. During 2018, 2019, it was so loud of me in the bathroom, like this, like just like this, and crying because my head was just screaming to just kill myself. It was just like, go, like, you're useless. Why are you here? You have no purpose. Nobody would care if you go. Like, that's what my head was telling me over and over and over and over again. The end of 2019, I started feeling better. I can't really tell you how or why I started feeling better. It was probably paired with my medication and paired with, I had one close friend and my therapist. Like, I feel like that was basically the only people on my side during that time who encouraged me to move. Like, literally encouraged me to move. Like, just go out, get some sun, just pull the curtains back, just take a walk from the shelter to my daughter's school and back, and then from the shelter to my daughter's school to pick her up. And then it turned into maybe a grocery run. Then it turned into maybe we sit at a pizza store and have pizza together. Like, I slowly got out of it. I mean, right now I'm happy I did. I still have depression. I still go through my bad days, but it is way better. I can tell you it is way better than where I was before. I don't even know who that person was, what that space was, what that box I was in was during that time. It was really a dark box. So I asked some of my subscribers some questions on my Instagram page, follow Self Care Tam, and I'm going to answer some of them. Okay, so the first question is, can you get over mental illness? I think I have some clips of my therapist clarity about getting over a mental illness, and I will try to enter the clip somewhere on this screen.
Because this is an illness. When somebody says depression, people often have, especially, and this is something that you and I have talked about, especially our culture. I mean, you're from one culture, I'm from a different culture, but our cultures hold same ideas about mental health, or similar at least. The idea that one is depressed is usually something that you get over.
Yeah, go get some fresh air.
Yeah, go get some fresh air and it's nothing. It isn't a chemical imbalance in those versions of depression. It isn't a sickness like flu is a sickness. But depression is a serious sickness, an illness just as serious as pneumonia or cancer or whatever. It is an imbalance that is created by an event in one's life, by the kind of resources that one has, the kind of you could even say, it certainly is also part of this is structural, right? We're talking about structural racism, that is definitely part.
Okay, so the next question is how to keep friends, or what should friends expect? Listening, help them find a therapist. That's a great one. I wouldn't suggest being aggressive with it. I wouldn't suggest being like, you have to get a therapist, you have to go, no, you need help. Don't do it. Make a slight suggestion. Just be like, oh, you think you need to talk to somebody about it? I talked to somebody, it's really great, it could be helpful, you should try it, and then move on. Don't sit here and keep talking about it, talk about it every 2 seconds. Please don't harass these people. You as a friend should set boundaries, practice self-care. Just because you are a person too, just because you need to help somebody doesn't mean you forget about yourself, because then you're going to be neglected and you're not going to feel too good. You have to be your best to help that person. You could just simply support them. Offer an ear, listen. It's simple. You could set your boundaries and say, oh, I am at work or I'm unavailable from 2 to 4, but after that I could talk to you for 30 minutes, or we could talk about it for a little bit, about what you're feeling or what you're going through, and then you move on. Just be a friend. It is not your job to fix these people. You cannot fix people. You cannot fix people, and you cannot fix their mental illness. So please do not try. That is the worst thing to do. I have encountered many people who I would say, I'm feeling down, or this is what I'm going through, and they would tell me, oh, go take a walk, or maybe you should take up gardening, or oh, just snap out of it. You think if I could snap out of it, I wouldn't? You think I wouldn't do that? You think I want to do this? That's great. What are you saying? If you have never been in that situation, you will have no relation to what they're going through. So please, just be a friend. Just be helpful. Help with some tasks. Sometimes I know my ass with depression. Sometimes the laundry sits here forever, all right? Just help. So the next question is, what are some healthy coping mechanisms? I would say getting some sunlight helps. It increases your serotonin levels, ups your mood a little bit. It's not a cure-all, but it should make you feel a little better. I would suggest get moving. Physical exercise also increases your serotonin levels. And I mean, a healthier body is a healthier mind sometimes. Like, sometimes it's great to exercise and zone out into something. Eat 12 vitamins, decrease your junk food intake, eat more fish, try not to skip meals. Another coping mechanism is challenging your thoughts, challenging your negative thoughts. I am a very black and white person. I see things black and white, no in between. I am a very it has to be perfect. And if this one thing is not perfect or correct, then throw the whole thing away. I do not want it. That's how I am, very black and white. I'm trying to change that, working on me. I focus on the negative. Like I said, negative things just stick in my head and in my thoughts. And that's another thing I'm working on. Things that you can do are challenge those thoughts. Like, what would somebody without depression think of these things? Are you sure it's imperfect? Are you sure it's the wrong thing to do? You sure somebody's not going to like it? You sure you're not overreacting? What evidence is there to prove that no one loves you? You see, you have to challenge these sometimes. And last but not least, get professional help. Seek out professional help. You are not weak for trying to get help. You are not crazy for trying to see a therapist. It is just someone to give you mutual ground and understanding of your feelings. Please, I cannot stress this enough. I know it could be scary to get a therapist. I know it could be scary to open up to somebody, but I strongly suggest seek professional help. The next question I have is, what caused you to start focusing more on your mental health? What caused me to start focusing more is it got scary. That situation was scary because there were points that I'm in bed. I was stuck in bed during that time, and I would tell myself, I would be like, just move. Like, you have laundry to do. You have a kid to feed. You have this to do. I'd be like, please just move. And it's like my body refused. Like, it's like the neurons were not connected to my tailbone and my leg bone and my foot bone. It was not connected. I could literally not move. And that was scary to me. I'm actively now trying to never get back to that place. I'm trying to never get back to that place. Okay, so the next question is, what is mental health? I'm just gonna read it, okay? Mental health is the psychological well-being or an absence of mental illness. It's all about how people think, feel, and their emotions. The well-being of that. Okay, so mental health is, you don't have to have anything mentally wrong with you or ill with you, or whatever you want to say. You don't have to have anything wrong. You just have to be in tune with your feelings and your emotions and understand it and know when you need time for yourself and to care for yourself and your emotions and your well-being. That's all mental health is. The next question is, how have I been coping with my mental illness? How have I been coping? I've been exercising. I've been trying to get more sunlight. Definitely self-care. Definitely self-care. Knowing when I need time to myself and getting it, demanding it. And I also have my therapist, my amazing therapist, who gives me a lot of clarity to see different things and try different things and approach different things different ways. So I try to break the mold of not reaching out. I try to at least check on everybody. I try to express myself more and my feelings. I've definitely been doing that better. Usually, I would either curse you out and go about my business, or I would keep it in, like keep all the emotion and the pain in and not express it at all. And that's unhealthy. Like, I have to get it out, because if I don't get it out, it stays in my head, and then it's like a what if situation, and it just keeps replaying in my head. So I have started to express myself, enunciate myself, and care about myself more. Next question is, when do you think you should get a therapist? I just wrote down some points. If you lost interest in things that you used to be interested in, if you feel not yourself, if you're abusing sex, drugs, or food, if you experience something traumatic, or if you lost someone, something important or special to you, basically, if you're not feeling yourself, if you're always feeling off, you know yourself. Nobody will know yourself better than you. If you know that you are not right, seek help. Okay, so that's all my questions. Last but not least, I wrote down some websites that I'm just going to leave most of them down below in my description. Thank you guys for sitting here and listening and learning about mental health. As you know, May was Mental Health Awareness Month, and I am so honored and blessed that you guys took the time to sit here and learn about mental health. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to get notified when I make new videos. Hit that like button, I would appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys at my next video. Bye.